What's going on, everybody? Hope you're having a great day, and if not, I hope today gets better. So I'm willing to bet that one time in your life that you felt that being nice has gotten you nowhere and it was about time for everyone to fear your wrath. I'm willing to bet this because I've been there myself. Now, I don't claim to be like Mr. Rogers or anything, but I've definitely had moments where I felt that being nice and trying to always do the right thing has genuinely gotten me nowhere. Although it can feel hopeless at times, it's always important to not let people or certain situations break down the best of your character. So in today's video, I wanted to talk about this subject because I've noticed that there are some people in the world who are just genuinely nice, and then there are some people in the world who are just using it as a tool to get whatever that is they need from you. And of course, I made 3 categories that we're going to go ahead and break down and discuss. And these 3 categories are: number 1, being nice for something; number 2, being nice for nothing; and number 3, being nice without being used. So yeah, like every video, let's just go ahead and break those down, and hopefully we'll be able to give you some insight for your day-to-day life. So starting off with number 1, being nice for something. So what I mean by this particularly is that if you're only being nice because you're trying to gain something off of somebody, then you'll definitely find that you will be disappointed a lot. Now, this is mainly common for somebody that we'll say has like a fake personality, for lack of a better words, or at least just somebody that feels that by getting you comfortable, they can get whatever that is they need out of you. I guess another way to look at it is that, there are some people in the world that do kind acts for others, but will have this expectation, by the snap of Thanos that, you're going to be able to help them in their time of need. I've definitely had moments where sometimes I felt that I was owed something because I thought that helping somebody in their time of need meant that they would always return the favor. And while to a certain degree I would say people do repay those actions, I had to understand though that some people in the world just aren't in a position to help anybody at that moment because they can't really help themselves, and I can't expect them to stop everything in their life to come help fix my problems. And yeah, it definitely sucks feeling like nobody has your back, but unfortunately we do have to go through hard times sometimes. And I'll talk more about that in my 3rd category. Fortunately, for what I can remember, I don't think I ever genuinely guilted somebody who ever refused me, but this definitely is a common strategy for people who are like this. Usually they'll say something like, "Wow, I thought you were my friend," or "Wow, you really must not care about me then." And none of that is true. Again, try to keep in mind, depending on the person or situation, it's not always a personal attack against you. Unfortunately, people have problems, rather if that's health problems, financial problems, or whatever it is. Life just goes on for everybody, and we can't expect them to pause their problems to fix ours. Again, it's just very unrealistic. Now moving on to number 2, being nice for nothing. Believe this or not, there are people in the world that are just genuinely nice and don't expect anything in return. They just don't have this thought that the world owes them anything, and that even if they are in their harshest of times, they always have the best outlook on things. Now, I don't claim to be like this by any means, but I do take inspiration from these people. They always seem to have the most ease with life, and, even while their life seems to be on fire, they're always treating people with common courtesy and respect and care, and it's really just like watching a superhero in real life. What I really admire from these people is that they remind me that being genuinely nice is not a chore. It's just the understanding that we all go through things and that you don't really know what someone could be going through in that moment. You never know if something you will say will ever affect the person in a good or a bad way. Most people around the world just don't go around sharing their problems. So if it seems like someone is just genuinely rude or just a common, well, there might be something more in the surface. I guess the best way to really say it is don't judge someone unless you walk a mile in their shoes. Now, one person in my life that I felt had this quality was my grandfather, in fact. From what I can remember of him, he was somebody in his neighborhood that was always kind and respectable to everybody, and they all loved him for it. He was always willing to help his neighbors and always be there for his family without expecting a dime or an action from anybody. Not to give you his whole story or anything, but this was a man born in the Great Depression whose mother died at childbirth and whose father died a few years after that due to alcoholism. He lived in orphanages in the beginning of his life, and then later in his teens, he was drafted in the army as a medic. Now, despite all that, though, he would eventually get himself into college where he would meet my grandmother, and of course, you know where that story went. But after graduating college, though, he was able to get himself a job as a pretty good salesman selling trailers, and from what I understood, he sold a lot of man of hustle. Gotta respect it. Now, I'm sure you're asking yourself, what does any of that story have to do with this video? Well, it's proved to me that someone can go through the harshest of realities and still come out of it without hating the world. He was a man that had genuine love and respect towards everyone, and I don't think I ever really saw an ounce of hatred in him. And if I get to grow old and have a long life, that's the man I aspire to be. So, thank you, Grandpa. Love you. Aww. Now moving on to number 3, being nice without being used. Now, I'm pretty sure there are a few of you that are watching this that feels that most of the time if you're nice, that just means people are going to take advantage of you. And while I do say that's true to a certain degree, I think this falls more into people who feel more guilt than others. You know, depending on the situation, these people will tend to feel really guilty if they don't help or be nice to someone, but then will feel even more guilty if they do be nice or help someone, even knowing they're being taken advantage of. And I know this because I'm definitely one of these people. I used to have a problem saying no a lot, and I would definitely put myself in a bad situation just to help someone fix their bad situation. And fortunately, through therapy, I've learned that sometimes you just have to put yourself before others, and it's not really selfish, it's just realistic. Now, I'm not telling you that you shouldn't be willing to be helpful or, be nice to anybody, but I definitely think you should know the person's reputation beforehand. If they're known for not being true to their word, then I would think it's best for you to not put yourself in any bad position. Empathetic people are always going to have this feeling of like they need to help somebody in order to make them feel happy, but the unfortunate truth is that some people, the only way to really help them is by not helping them. And sometimes that may require a stern no against people that are going to try to guilt you, but at the end of the day, it's you protecting you. And remember, no one's going to do that for you. The unfortunate truth that I don't think a lot of people want to realize is that sometimes you do have to go through those hard times, and it does suck. But sometimes the harshest moments of our life is the only thing that really builds clarity for our future. It's the normal story of someone hitting their rock bottom and then having to rebuild themselves back up to the top again. And believe this or not too, someone who seems really nice and has everything together might be someone who actually went through a rock bottom, or at least just been through a bad situation where they had to rebuild themselves back up. Now, this definitely doesn't mean that people like this are full of charity and internal graceness. While they may be a nice person, they do realize that some people will try to abuse that kindness to get what they want. And then they might get surprised when they find that said person has a tougher, darker side that they didn't even realize was there. So to get to my point here, it's very important to be nice and generous with everyone, but understand that there will be people who will try to abuse it, and you have to protect yourself from these people. And even if that requires a bit of rudeness from your part, then it's just you protecting you. That's all it is. All right, guys, that's all I had for today's video. If you stuck around this far, I want to say thank you guys for watching, and thank you guys for getting me close to 60 subscribers. By the end of the year, I want to be able to get to 100 subscribers, so hopefully within 6 months, we'll be able to make it happen. And again, if there's anything that I said in this video that you found helpful, please give this video a like, and let me know in the comments down below what your opinions are on this subject. I'm curious to see them. I don't have anything to announce as of this moment, but I'll definitely keep all of you guys updated in my social media. It's a good place to go watch my shorts or just talk to me one-on-one in person. I'll have the links down in the description below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more content like this in the future. But all right, guys, I hope you have a great day, and that's it for me. Have a good one.